Welcome to Professor Vrashabharaj Jain. It's really heartening to see what's happening in education now, despite all this COVID strain that everybody is going through, particularly the students as well as faculty, the entire fraternity of educators. This is also the time when this national education policy has approved by the cabinet in July 2020. After 1986, when the National Policy on Education 1986 was tabled and approved, and later tweaked in 1992, there has been no major changes in the education policy. So this 2020 change is going to be phenomenal, and it might take a few years when the full-fledged implementation of that would happen. And I think it's not going to be easy. I mean, there's going to be there are a lot of stakeholders involved, of course, in education at school as well as in college level. How are we going to make them critical thinkers who would ask questions, and where the locus of control will be from within rather than be outside, where they are governed by external inducements of examinations and all the other things that we go by normally. Imagine new things and work towards those areas. The means to achieve this, the policy also states we have to actually let go of rote memory, which has been the hallmark of most education evaluation systems in our country. Emphasis on problem identification rather than simply solving the problem, and opportunity spotting. And there is, along with this, also there is a lot of emphasis on new forms of educational valuation, while micro assessments and year-end uh, evaluation, uh, I would say drama that's going on in universities may have to be questioned. There'll be more continuous assessment rather than evaluation, and means of improving their performance rather than have kind of an industrial age production of students through a 3 or 4 year old production process, batch process. And so they're this whole policy is talking about affiliation system to be entirely discontinued, and a national research foundation coming in, and even students at undergraduate level being research oriented and inquiry oriented rather than be answering pat answers for pat questions. So this is basically the whole thing. So now how can NLP really help in terms of implementation of these lofty ideals from the perspective of regulator, from parents, society, from the perspective of employers, and the educational community, academicians, and of course, most importantly, students. So this is a very tall kind of a demand from anything, but I'm just laying out these are the possibilities. Even if you can make a small impact on any one of these stakeholders through NLP, which is seen to be extremely effective at individual levels in terms of removing compulsive behavior, in terms of creating higher performance, in terms of understanding other people, in terms of having better sociality among individuals. If any of these can be touched, even in a what should I say, experimental way, so that it can grow into something bigger as we go, is most welcome at this point in time. So that's why I think NLP is critical. I think for changing the mindset of our the academia in general, as well as students, and get to some kind of embracing of change, embracing of ideals that we have in our mind, to say that these things are indeed practical if all of us are together in it. I think that is the whole idea. Is it possible that we can have a large scale application, uh,
Yeah,
scalable application of NLP principles,
yeah.
which can be imbibed by the academia to enhance, whatever these students are doing in
Yeah.
terms of creating better understanding of subjects, being better professionals, being better citizens, being more ethical. Is How can that be done?
All our education policy and government rules, all these university colleges. They must concentrate on students. Now the funniest thing is nobody is worried about the students' problems, students' needs, and everybody is worried about the rules and regulations. Now my point of view is as far as the NLP, if you want to introduce NLP in excellence in education, at least if our students are able to understand the functioning of conscious and unconscious mind from the point of view of NLP, that is a great eye opener for all our students. Another important aspect is belief system. What they believe about themselves, what they think about themselves, how we can change by the process of this NLP. We are having a lot of problem in introducing all these things in educational system because the first thing is the teachers. How we penetrate the teachers with this idea, and next is the university, and the next is the government. So all these are to be tackled in a very systematic manner. Otherwise, it is very difficult to introduce any new things into the system. Whatever the rule says, but who is going to implement it? For example, I visited one of the famous institution in Mangalore, and I want to introduce some of the examination techniques to the students. He is not able to give me 2 hours time because he is very busy with the regular work. He says, no, I can't give you even a 15 minutes to you because we are all busy. They're all busy with the regular work. What is the regular work? Day-to-day affairs, starting the college, having the classes, finishing the syllabus. So all these things. First, we have to understand we need to focus on opening the minds of the heads of the institution. Then people must be open to new things. That is a major problem we are facing in everywhere. Nobody wants a change immediately because they are very comfortable with the existing system. If you introduce some change, even in this new education policy, it may be there. So many beautiful words are there in the rule or in the policy, but who is going to implement it? So from our point of view, suppose if we want to introduce NLP in the field of education, how we have to go for it? How we can penetrate all these obstacles? That is a major issue I think we may have to talk. Say, I don't know, but because according to me, we can introduce this in a way as a pilot project in 1 or 2 institutions, get the feedback from them, and if it is really useful to the students, because students are the stakeholders here, if they find it very useful, say for example, the study technique or the reading technique, the use of WACO, the visual, auditory and kinesthetic systems in reading and writing skills, memories, all these things are very, very useful to the students' fraternity. Now, if this is directly implemented by outside person in a college, teachers won't accept it because an outside person coming there and introducing this type of a new type of learning, they won't accept that easily. Even heads of the institution, they won't accept. They won't find any time schedules for us. But in Mangalore University, we are having one special program in a credit choice-based semester system. They call it as uh, extracurricular activity. It is compulsory. Even the marks for that extracurricular activities included in their marks card also. So here is the point where we can penetrate to a little extent in Mangalore University area. And how we have to do it, that we have to think. Because in one semester, say for example, it is one semester is about 4 months, and out of that 1 month will go for all the examination and other activities in the colleges, and at least we will get 3 months. 3 months means about 12 weeks. After 12 weeks, say you take 2 more weeks. So 10 weeks. Suppose in a week, if we are able to go to a college at least for 2 hours in a week, we will get around say 20 hours. So we know how to make the module of 20 hours NLP, which is very useful to the students in the first semester. The modules are to be prepared and then it is to be presented. and it is to be tested. When we get the result out of that, then we can persuade the people who are sitting at the helm of affairs. I think this is how we may have to go. That is my idea. I don't know how about how to, because NLP is very useful in understanding mind and body. We all know, but how to transfer this idea into the teaching fraternity as well as to the people who are at the helm of affairs. So
That is,
only by producing results.
so that is a real challenge.